Hello, my name is Yarmin Garaba. Welcome to this demonstration of the Pessimistic Validation project that is done for the Celestia Hackathon. The goal of this project is to be able to allow optimistic rollups, for instance created with RollKit, to IBC safely over to another chain, like a Cosmos SDK chain in this case, without having to wait for the dispute period and for it to be safe. So the way this is designed is that the validator set of a receiver chain, like a hub kind of chain, for the rollup can have a partial set of its validators validate the rollup pessimistically, meaning that they run actually the full node and validate all the blocks and the transactions. So sort of similar to how a normal chain works, but you can have just a partial set, and you can decide what kind of security guarantees you want and how many of your validators you want and how much validation power you need for that. So the way that is done is that there's a pessimistic light client that basically just where these validators are signing off on the headers, and it works in tandem with a regular light client on both sides, and the pessimistic light client depends on the proof of the state being looked at in the normal light client, and then just the validators will sign off on the headers, and that's when we can actually do the transfers over IBC. And then this update method is basically done through vote extensions in Comet BFT in ABCI++. So I'm not going to go too much through the implementation itself. There is a hub chain here that has these validation objectives that validators can sign up for as a SDK module. There's a light client that's implemented here. That's the pessimistic light client. And in the app folder here, you can also look at the vote extensions. So they basically read the config of that they have and look at the validation objectives, and then they check their own full nodes for the current height and app hash and so on, and then they vote, and if they match, it will update the light client essentially through a normal light client update that is being done here in the pre-blocker. So you can also look at, so the whole thing is actually working end-to-end here in this pessimistic test. So it's an interchain test setup where all the chains are spun up with multiple validators. We verify that things are working, and we set up all the validation objectives and configuration and yeah, all of this, and check that it works basically. There is also, and that's what I'm going to do next, is going to do a quick demo of this locally. So there's a long list of things you can do here to actually set this up. So I'm going to do that as quickly as I can now. So there's a Docker compose that we will start first. So basically it spins up the hub, it spins up the RollKit chain, the rollup, and the local Celestia devnet for the rollup to use for data availability. And this is something that this could be extended to, is to also use the data availability into the verification here. I've not done that now, but that would be a natural extension. So let's just follow the roll-up here just to see when that starts. So it starts a little later because it needs Celestia to be up before it can properly start. While we wait for that, let's just copy this relayer configuration. So we have set up a relayer configuration. If we just do look at the config here, it has two paths. So one is a regular path, which will just set up as tenement. Could have been some different kind of roll-up light client, but doesn't really matter. And later we'll set up the pessimistic path as well. We know that the client ID is going to be this in this scenario, so I just filled it in here. but yeah, so now the relay is ready. The rollup has started. So now we can, yeah, so normally we'd set up the relay keys. I've already done that. And then we set up the light clients on the regular path, so the 10-min, 10-min ones. Let's just run an update on those as well. So now they have 10-min light clients working. And then we are going to set up this validation objective. So the validator here is creating a validation objective for this light client, so the 07 10-min as one on the hub. And we can now sign up for that one. And if we do query for it, we can see that it's activated now, and that happened when the validator signed up, because it's got over this required power. And then the light client was actually created at that point, so it was not created before. So now we have the light client up, but currently it is not being validated because the validator has not actually started their job. So we will start by actually creating that configuration that the validator needs. So there's an example here that happens to work for this scenario. So it's just a YAML file, and they're going to validate this one. This, I can tell this is not going to work. That's wrong. So we will copy that one in, and that's going to probably not work so well. I think we can do instead, I think I did something similar here. I think we can do this. I think that might work. So let's just look at the, yeah, actually we can now look at the logs from this validator, and nothing is actually happening now, and the reason for that is because vote extensions are not enabled in the parameters, consensus parameters in Comet BFT. I've hacked the hub so that it can be done through a CLI command. So in a couple of blocks that will actually just start. So let's see if what starts to happen here when that kicks in. So right, so it's saying here that it's getting a connection refused, and the reason for that is simply because yeah, this is wrong. This, I can see here again, this we've done something wrong here, so this needs to be like this. So if we can just basically just copy that in again, update configuration. And when we look at the logs now, there is something interesting happening here. So there is vote extensions are enabled, and here you can see there's some vote extensions being sent. There's a bunch of unreadable stuff, but it's basically the height and the signatures and all of this. And they get gathered together at the end, where they are used to update the light client. So if we now look at our pessimistic light client, we can see that it is actually being updated here block by block. So this is a little unnecessary to do this every block, obviously, but at least it's keeping up. So this is the consensus one, so that's from the dependent light client, and the latest height is the one that we actually have verified. So that's usually higher, which is okay. And now we can get the rest working. So there's a bit of a limitation here, and I need to set up the regular path fully first. And the reason for that is due to the updating of the clients happening a bit out of sync here, and the real layer is not able to handle the updating properly because it's different for the for our pessimistic clients, which is fine, but it's just means that we if we keep a real layer going on the regular path, it's going to work out. So just starting the relaying between the two other paths, the regular clients essentially. And now we can actually link up the pessimistic path. There's going to be a few errors in here, and that's due to what I mentioned earlier. But yeah, we can see there's some connection opening, some aux happening. So it's setting everything up, and should be more or less going, I think. So we'll basically, yeah, I think this is actually done now. So we'll stop the this one, and we'll just start relaying on both. To relay on the new pessimistic one as well. So we can take a look at Docker exec hub, and we'll look at let's do the rollup one, and look at the channels. So here there is a new channel 1. So channel 0 was the one that was created on the regular live client setup, and this one is the real one. So channel 1 is going to run over the pessimistic live client. So that means we can now do try to do a transfer. So here we do IBC transfer on channel 1 to someone on the hub here. We send some stake, and let's go. And then we can just check the balance on the hub. So it's not there yet. Let's see if the relayer here is struggling a little bit. It should be coming anytime. Maybe we need to actually do a flush to make something happen here. And there we go. So the relaying is a bit doesn't work all the time as expected. It does work in the tests, and yeah, there's basically the relayer is not really so good at handling this new type because it's just hacked in. All right, but here you can see it's actually working. We got it sent over on the new pessimistic light client that has been validated by a partial validator set, and that was it. And thank you. There's a lot more information in the README, both on alternative implementations, things I've learned along the way on how this might have been done, could be done differently using maybe some IBC middleware, or reusing some of the concepts from eIBC that Dimension has set up, stuff like that. But there are definitely some interesting concepts here, and it's been a lot of nice learning both on RollKit, IBC, Celestia, and much more. So thank you for the attention, and bye.